Welcome to our new series, the 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie. So Soto, let's get you in a different place. Let's get you in a different, frame of mind right now. Why don't we just jump into your second movie? I already know what you watched and who's in this, and I'm kind of intrigued. So, let's bring it down. Let's bring it back.
Of this movie? Like,
I haven't heard of any of these
trailers for this.
No.
Really?
I did not. When you told me you saw this movie, I was like, okay. I do my usual. I pull up a thumbnail, or whatever, good picture to put our faces on so it doesn't block the title. That's usually what I do right away. So yes, all I saw was the star and bees, and you've already. I'm going to joke about this. You kind of lost me at bees, but hold on. So Soto, I'm going to give you the floor. What's your second floor? Let's get you in a different state of mind from the last movie.
Before I get to this movie, because I'm gonna milk it, right? I just want to say on the record that if the single video for Tree of Life beats The Wizard, I am going to be fucking. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
It probably, a lot of our videos get those, there is a few that get the small views, but you know what? You never know.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
I mean, it's gonna happen. Most of them get 7 or 8, so most likely it's gonna beat The Wizard regardless.
Oh my god!
It just happens. I think there might be a couple. I don't know. Recently, the few we've done, but we'll see. We'll see. People need to know. They like to know what you're saying, and maybe that's why they're not listening to the end, because they're like, oh god, Tree of Life, I don't know if I can handle this. Oh, Sing, I don't know if I can handle this. But they're like, Kung Fu Killer, I'm in. I need some action in my life. But anyhow,
of all the movies that we've done, this entire time that we've been doing this, this is the one that I had to rely on my notes the most of, and it was the most difficult movie for me to analyze, talk about, and rank. I don't know if there's going to be a movie that's going to be harder to deal with than Tree of Life. We'll see. We've got a long way to go in this year.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, saw a movie called The Beekeeper. Now, this movie stars Jason Statham.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are familiar with his work, obviously, the first time I saw Jason Statham was in Snatch. Wasn't really an action star in that movie. Was just kind of witty, and it had great dialogue. And I love Snatch. Snatch is another Brad Pitt movie, and Snatch is a movie that I think is hilarious. I love Benicio del Toro pretty much in everything he does, and this was great. But Jason Statham has been kind of morphed into this action star where he's pretty much the same guy in every movie. That's not bad. It's just that tends to happen with action stars, right?
So ever since the Transporter, in my opinion, that was a long time ago. But yes, I agree with you.
But Transporter had a vibe, but then they've gotten dumber and dumber. Like there was like a mechanic one or something like that, and then
they did like 3 or 4 of them. I mean, so yes. Anyhow,
wasn't there one where it's like he had to like keep his heart going too and stuff like that?
And then there was a Crank 2, which anyhow. Wow. Yes, all these movies.
There's definitely an audience for. There's definitely an audience for Jason Statham. There just is.
There is.
And so I'm going to give you the synopsis that I read while I was perusing Amazon Prime. And I noticed that it was number 10 in the US as I was watching. And I was like, The Beekeeper? What could this possibly be about? Jason Statham is a former military operative that also is now raising bees. Okay. Also part of a secret organization called the Beekeepers, but we'll get to that. They operate outside the normal government, the normal government budget, and they kind of do whatever they want. Have you ever seen the movie John Wick?
Soto, no, I've not seen any John Wicks.
You haven't seen John Wick?
That all right? No. Honestly, here I will tell you. As we were doing this challenge, I'm like, I kind of want to see. I've seen scenes. You like obviously when you're perusing through TikTok whatnot, I have seen scenes. John Wick is one of those series that I know I missed because of when I left Blockbuster, and now it's not available anywhere. Like I think the 3rd and 4th. So no, it's gonna be on my radar. Don't get me wrong, I am looking, but I'm like, if I'm doing this, I need to start from the beginning, and I'm going fall into it. So yes, I know I can get mocked, and this is why we're doing this, because there's a lot of movies that I
I am.
probably should have seen. But no, I
Well,
have not
first
seen
of
John
all,
Wick. Came out after I left,
I
and I
did
could
not.
care less about movies. I shouldn't say I
I
care
did
less about.
not. I did not think that in our conversation, because I'm like, all right, I'm going to bring up the John Wick angle, and of course, Chad will have already seen John Wick, and so that will set up how I'm going to discuss this movie. Because you don't need to see the other John Wicks, you just need to see the first one, because the first one is where the magic is. Now, of course, the other ones build on the first one's story, but the first one's all you need. So with John Wick, when I sat down and watched it, I had zero expectations of that being a good movie. I don't know how much you know about John Wick, but something happens to John Wick in the movie that's a catalyst, and then he decides to kill everybody in the fucking movie, and he does it in a great way. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that.
I know something about his dog, but
I'm
I
just
thought that was a sequel, so I don't know. There might be something else. But yeah, you're right. Let's not say anything more.
That's the fucking first one. That's the first 30 minutes of the first one, and then that's basically what starts a franchise.
Yep.
It's that one thing that happens to him leads to him getting into all sorts of shit. But anyways, okay, so I was gonna say this is like John Wick but with bees. Okay, so yeah, so he has for reasons that I did not pick up on, he's been taken in by this older woman, and he's just kind of leading a quiet life, tending to his bees, harvesting their honey, doing doing it with a Jason Statham straight face. No reason why, but it's a very nice older lady, and he's doing his thing, and they're living their little quiet life, and he thanks her, for taking him in, and nobody's ever taken care of him, right? That's the setup. And she's on her computer, and she notices that a virus pops up, or some virus notification pops up. She's like, "Oh, what the hell?" And it says, "Oh, call this number, and we'll help you fix it." Obviously, this old woman is about to get scammed.
Correct.
And so she calls this number, and it's like, and this is something I'm going to reference throughout this entire review. Okay. She speaks to the head of an evil call center. Okay. An evil call center that preys on older people not knowing how to use computers, right? And so he walks her through these things, and he's standing in front of all the employees, and he's like, "Watch how I'm going to steal all this woman's money," brings up all her bank accounts on the big screen. And she's like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "I just need this information, and then we'll make sure we do this," and blah, blah. This is all part of your package for your antivirus software. And she's like, just following along. And then in one fell swoop, he wipes out all of her finances. And I'm talking like, even every account she has, and even an account that she has, it's a charity account, has about $2 million in it. Just totally wipes it out. And she goes in her bank accounts, and she realizes what she's done, and she's just beside herself. Can't believe this happened. Looks at the charity, and it's got $0, right? And so meanwhile, Jason Statham's just doing his B thing, and oh, I didn't even mention this part because it sets up the whole movie. So wasps, I learned, are very they're like a bee's natural enemy. So he like collects all these wasps in a bag to make sure, because they were like fucking with his bee colony, right? And he's talking to the old woman. He's like, yeah, he's walking with this big bag filled with fucking wasps, and she's like, "Oh, okay, like, oh, thank you so much for taking care of that." And he's like, "No, like a wasp will do A, B, and C to the colony, so I got to make sure it's good." She's like, "Oh, so what are you gonna do with those wasps?" And he's like, "That's between me and the wasp." Like, he's like, "I'm not gonna talk about that because that's my own personal business." I'm like, okay, what the fuck? He then proceeds to take this bag of wasps to his little work garage area, right? Opens up like the little opening at the beginning of the bag, and puts like what seems to be like a fluorescent tube in there, cracks it open, then puts a taser in the fluorescent tube so it electrocutes all the wasps that are in the bag. He could have killed them any other way, but he had a fucking personal vendetta against these wasps, and it dictates how he approaches every situation in the rest of the movie. So, come back, present time, the woman's just been scammed. She lost all her money. He's in his little garage. He has a jar of freshly made honey, and writes her name on it and everything. He's like walking over. to the house, and he's like, okay, he's gonna give her honey. Oh wait, the lights are off. This is weird. He goes in there. He finds out that this poor old woman has basically she shot herself in the head. She committed suicide, and and her daughter happens to be an FBI person who's there too. So she catches him in the act and is wondering what he's doing. And so, through a series of circumstances, they find out that she was obviously taken advantage of by this company that's actually secretly a scam company and everything. And so Jason Statham, because he has the ability to find out where everything is because of plot, decides to go and hunt down this evil call center as revenge for preying upon the elderly and taking all their money. I'm not kidding. He even has this little thing where he's like, the elderly are the most vulnerable. Like, he goes to this whole thing and sets up his whole character, and then proceeds to literally just find people, blow shit up, set people on fire, and just fucking cause mayhem all the way up to the White House. Like, I'm telling you, like, this movie escalates to where he's trying to assassinate the president of the United States. I
So
am not fucking kidding.
The president has something to do with these call centers. All right, no. All
Yes.
right, okay. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And
All right.
bees.
If you ever want to
Wasp
see
bad, bees good. Got it. That's
and
what.
also bees. Here is my major issue with this film. It is not the absurdity of Jason Statham finding these evil call centers, which I loved because we all know how I feel about call centers. But the fact of the matter is that when I saw this thumbnail and I was looking at this movie, I was like, you know what? I hope that he's killing people and kicking ass and at the same time giving us bee facts. And he's telling us about bee facts and he's using bees, maybe even using bees to kill some sort of people, right? Like he has like bees, like bee traps and shit like that. I'm gonna spoil it. He doesn't. There are bee facts spread throughout the movie through side characters like the FBI agents like reading about bees because they're trying to find out why what makes this guy tick. Which, by the way, Jason Statham has no character development. He's just Jason Statham and he's just kicking ass in every sort of way. He's never challenged. He doesn't change. He's just 100% on a revenge tour, right? And so yeah, he goes on this rampage and gets revenge for this old lady, and a severe lack of bee themed kills and attacks for this movie are what kind of just made me a little bit sad and kind of killed the potential. I enjoyed this stupid movie, but again, I was hoping for it to be a little bit campier. I didn't think it would take itself as seriously. Um, but if you have nothing else going on and you want to watch a movie that's a little bit over 90 minutes and you like Jason Statham, I highly recommend it. It is absolutely ridiculous. And the kills are pretty decent. One guy gets chained to a pickup truck that goes off a bridge, and then obviously he drowns. So that was kind of funny. Yeah. So the Beekeeper. As far as where I'm gonna rank
This
this,
has got to be good.
it's not gonna be as crazy as you think because I found it entertaining.
I think I'm gonna
But
put it right here. I'm looking at
I
the
wouldn't
number
say
right
it's
now. Let's see if I'm right.
I would I wouldn't say it's great. But I'm putting this just above Kung Fu Killer. That's what I'm putting this on my list.
All right,
Do you
let's
have it
move
in a
it.
different place?
Oh, I thought it was gonna go a little. I don't know. I thought this was gonna be one of those surprise higher ones. I did assume you were gonna put this over because I was looking at Kung Fu Killer. And I'm like maybe, probably. I'm like yeah, but yeah, a few spots. I'm always a few spots higher, but yeah. So your new number 20, basically. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's above Kung Fu Killer. It was fucking fun. Sarah and I laughed throughout the whole fucking time. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then it just ends in the most ridiculous way. Like he has a swimsuit, he just disappears into the ocean. And when it ends, we just started fucking laughing. We're like, and then it ends. Oh my god, that's just the ending of it. Like it was a wild ride. I mean, John Wick is classic and way better, but somebody saw John Wick and was like, what if John Wick but bees? Um, and that's what this movie was. But yeah, it's a Jason Statham movie called The Beekeeper. Okay, one of the lines in this movie, like the guy has Jason Statham in I don't know some sort of lock or something, and he's like, "What is it? To be or not to be?" And Jason Statham goes, "I choose to be."
Oh my god.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
I know you're
That
not.
happened.
I know you're not. And
I'm not
oh,
mad about it. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. I saw Snakes on a Plane in the theater. It was a great theater experience.
yeah, for what it
Everybody was
definitely
hooting and
was,
hollering.
100%.
Yeah, it wasn't at the level of fucking Chicken Jockey or anything like that where people are throwing shit at the fucking screen. But like at the time, Snakes on a Plane was a great audience movie and no one took it seriously. Because you don't take it seriously, you can really enjoy it. And so, we talked about this so many times with Rotten Taste where it's just the shitty movies that you like. I'm more interested in those because sometimes those can be more fun. And if you have a free Friday night and you got nothing going on, you got a couple drinks and you're with your girl, turn this movie on and just have a fucking good time. It's not that serious.
Sometimes that's all we need, a not so serious movie about bees and
No,
a man that
I find myself.
brutalizes wasp. Why? Just because.
Well, we just hit play on it, dude. We saw it and I said, "Fuck it, I want to go on this ride." And it delivered in the way that it wasn't too deep or anything. Um, will I watch it again? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'd watch it again before I'd watch The Tree of Life.
And yet the tree of life is higher than the beekeeper, so that's pretty interesting.
Um,
That's the way our minds
it's a
work, but
it's a
better movie.
it's a
So
complicated situation, Chad. And again, I'm happy I did Tree of Life first and then The Beekeeper. Now you can understand because if we finished on Tree of Life and then you had to go into your movies, the flow would be fucked up.
sometimes the flow does get fucked up, but it's because we watch such random movies.